again, everyone, to another edition of Bigfoot Weekly. Today is Tuesday, August 6, 2013. Today's edition runs a little longer than normal, so let's get right to it. Alright, so most of us anyway, believe that Sasquatch exists, which is a little bit out there to start with, but then when people start introducing other theories about the Sasquatch, well, then we say, well, hell, you're crazy, that's way over the top. So this is an article that's designed to stir and rile people up. This is the 5 strangest theories about Sasquatch. This is not a new article, it's been out there for a while. Bigfoot represents a lost species of hominid, is a Native American nature spirit, is an alien creature, a psychic monster from another dimension, and finally is a human with really nice hair. So check that out if you like. Get yourself all riled up and then post comments afterwards. Top 13 Sasquatch movies. Now, I don't know if these are put in any particular order. They don't seem to be. And I hate to admit this, but there's only 1 or 2 of these that I've actually seen. So I really haven't been a big movie watcher. And I have to admit that some of these Squatch movies they're usually B movies. But I'm sure there's some out there that are really well done. Anyway, it's a good list. So what I'm going to do with this list, me personally, is go through the list and try to pick out some of the better ones, and kind of have a Saturday night Squatch fest at home. Anyway, check it out, and maybe it'll complete your list too of Sasquatch movies that you have or have not watched. Alright, this was a Sundance Film Festival movie entitled Sasquatch Birth Journal 2, and right now I'm wondering why I even have this here, but or why it was even a Sundance film. But in any case, it's a female Sasquatch supposedly giving birth. I'm not going to show the whole thing because I'm just not going to do that. It's I don't know. It's a cross between interesting and weird, but probably more toward the weird side. I'll leave the link to that if you haven't seen it already. Check it out. Alright, during the last video I mentioned Infrasound, and it seemed to rile some people up, so I just became a little more curious about Infrasound, and I found a few videos. This one's from Scott Carpenter, and he claims that he's actually being affected by infrasound during his research, and he describes how he's feeling and etc. But Timber Giant Bigfoot also had a lot of the same feelings and claims that he's experienced infrasound as well. It's hard. It's one of those things that's going to be difficult to prove. A lot of the investigators that have claimed to come close to these Bigfoot or Sas claim that it's a real phenomenon, but you just gotta have to keep an open mind and make your own mind up as to whether or not it's real or if it's bunk. But I will say this: it seems as though, to me anyway, that once that buzzword was let go, it was released, and then it just seemed to be that others jumped on it as well. And I think the investigators that Joe Rogan was with during his first episode of Joe Rogan Questions Everything, one of the first things they mentioned was infrasound as well. So it seems to be one of the latest buzzwords. So go ahead and get riled up, those of you who don't believe, and post comments if you like. But I'm not advocating this. It's not something that I've made up my mind yet about, and it's one of those things that is difficult to prove. And sometimes you wonder if the investigators are just claiming it, to get more, to get more people to watch your videos. It's one of those things. You decide for yourself, though. All right, so one more on infrasound, and then I'm going to leave it alone. This is an article written by Cliff Barackman, and it's on his website, and it's entitled "Case for Infrasound." And he goes into, you know, his thoughts and feelings about infrasound. There are other animals that use infrasound in communication and other things like that. So these are just his thoughts and feelings. I won't go into what he's writing about, but or what the bottom line is with his thoughts and feelings about it. You can read for yourself. I'll leave the link to that. And Cliff always has interesting insight and perspective. So if you're interested, check it out. I'll leave the link. Real quickly then, while we're on Cliff Barackman's website, his DVD, Bigfoot Road Trip, is out, and it can be purchased on his website. I don't see a price for it anywhere. Critics are calling it bromantic, beautiful, and worst film. So it has that going for it, huh? Alright, I'm probably going to order my own copy this week. I don't see a price anywhere. But anyway, I'll post a link if you're interested in buying that. Alright, hopefully this will make up for some of the silliness that I've got in the earlier part of this video. This is a channel, Morrigans 10, and it belongs to Mark Parra. He set this up for his Bigfoot research in Colorado. I believe he lives in Parker, Colorado, and I'm not really sure where his research site is. I was told it wasn't too far from his home, but anyway, he's got a number of videos that he set up for his research, and they're all pretty well done. I want to say thanks to 2010 Chenwa for introducing me to Mark's work. Mark also has a Facebook that is just chock full of stuff from his research as well. He's got his videos there, or links to his videos. He's also got, interestingly enough, a lot of still photos from his research, and some of those are really compelling and really cool to look at, and I'll cover some of those here in just a minute. But Mark has recently come back from a 2-day weekend or research this past weekend, I believe, and he says he stumbled across a new area that shows a lot of promise and a lot of activity. So he's excited about that, and he's taking a different approach. He's going to set up game cameras and kind of do it a little bit differently. But now's a good time to jump on this channel and follow Mark's work. I think this guy is really onto something. He's got a lot of good stuff. So let's move on now to his to the still photos. All right, here's Mark's logo. We'll start a quick slideshow here. Let me change that. That's not right. Here, this is interesting. This is actually a painting by Alexander Fednyov. I'm not really familiar with his work, but it very closely resembles, if you look here. This is an interesting story about a Sas that he encountered. And as soon as the Sas knew that Mark was moving his direction, he bolted down this mountainside, crashing through trees and stuff. But this is a very compelling photograph right here, and I'll show you some other pictures and close-ups. But it's interesting how closely it resembles this painting. All right, here's a better view of that Sas that he ran into on that mountainside. Pointed his camera in that direction and caught this. It's an interesting story, and I read it on his Facebook. His Facebook has a lot of really good information. Kind of gives you more of the in-depth behind the video sort of stories and things about his research. So definitely his Facebook is every bit as interesting as his YouTube channel. All right, what he captured here, and actually this was, I believe this was brought to his attention by Chenoa 2010, who's a YouTube member of the Bigfoot community and a subscriber. And like I said, she's the one that introduced me to Mark's work. So what appears to be captured here is a male Sasquatch. If you look in this direction, it looks to be a forehead, a brow, a head. And here are some fingers, fingernails, some middle finger, index finger. Appears to be clutching what some people think is the side of an infant's head, but take a look and decide for yourself. There's more pictures of this scenario here. Here's another good one. This one shows you more up close. There's the brow ridge, the head, and if you look at those fingers, I mean, those are it clearly looks like a hand with knuckles, etc. And then here's the face again, but it looks like it's moving. It's not sitting still. Okay, here's yet another one that's also a little bit different. If you look at the fingers, they're kind of a little bit different position than they were before. There's maybe a little bit better shot of the top of the head, the brow ridge, and then there's the male again. And here's another version or view of it, with supposedly other Sas in the picture as well. And this one was caught between two trees. There's a larger version of this picture there. There you can see, very obvious. And then we're back to this family. As you can see, the male sort of drifted off or faded out a little bit. This looks as though it has disposition of the hands or the fingers has changed a bit. There's a clearer picture of the brow ridge and the top of the head on what they think is a female. Anyway, these pictures are compelling. There's Mark. I'm impressed with the pictures and the work that he's done, and surprised that I hadn't really run into his work any sooner. Here's where that Sas appeared by that tree. It looks like he's either already showed his face and is taking off down the mountain. And there's a close-up here of that same Sas. There's another shot. And there it is again, very clearly. You can see the face. Alright, thanks for watching. I appreciate it. I want to thank those who have been with me from the very start, and any new subscribers as well. We'll talk again next week. Thanks.